So we have just got paid, and I wanted to show you my payslip and break it down for you to show you how much we actually get paid, or well, how much I actually get paid as a doctor right now. And just to be like real open and transparent about it, I think a lot of people don't know how to read their payslip, how it works, what means what on it. So I'm going to go through a payslip that I actually got sometime last year. A couple of my ones this year have been a little bit complicated, but this one has a few interesting features on it that I wanted to show you. And then after that, after I go through the payslip and break it down, we will actually go through about how to check that it's actually the right payslip for you. And we use this cool thing called DiT Paycheck. So I'll be showing you guys how I use that and how it actually just like works out really, really well for me. One of the hardest things when we first start out is, what does it all mean? And the payslips can be quite overwhelming. So let's just go through this now. So this is literally just straight up a payslip that I downloaded from my emails that I got. It was at the start of November last year. And essentially the way I know this is if you go up the top here, it says the 24th of October 2022 till the 6th of the 11th 2022. So this is the period in which I got paid for this. So usually most hospitals do it on a fortnightly basis, and the hospital that I was working at last year is no different. So it starts on the Monday and then finishes on the following Sunday. So yeah, that's the way it sort of works, but each hospital can be a little bit different. So you just need to check when the start and stop date of your pay periods are. But I think, yeah, that was the first thing to draw your attention to, is just the two dates up here, is when I started and when I stopped. And that's the hours in which I get paid for this. I think the next thing to check, like obviously I've just blurred out my personal details, but you have to check your employee number and your name, because yeah, you just want to make sure it's actually you getting paid for the hours that you actually worked. The main things I really care about are the payment box, and this is what I actually get paid for. So this 76 is the number of hours that I worked in the fortnight, and that's how many hours I'm actually rostered to work for each fortnight as a junior doctor, as an intern last year. That's how many hours I had to work. And I was paid last year at this rate. I was paid at $39, pretty much $40 an hour. Which isn't too bad, being a first year doctor, and certainly like a lot more generous compared to some of the other people who start working out as a first year doctor all around the world. So very understanding that this is a pretty good amount to get paid first year out. But essentially the way it works is the rate is multiplied by the hours. So it's like pretty much $40 by 76, and then I end up with that amount there, $3,035.60. And then you go on to this amount here, which is the continuous medical education allowance. And essentially every fortnight they provide you with a monetary amount to I'm actually not too sure like what they expect us to do with this amount, but it's for us to continually educate ourselves and keep up to date with whatever medical training or anything that we can put that money towards, because they want us to keep progressing as doctors and keep learning and learning more about the profession. We're not rostered to do any specific classes or anything. There are mandatory like lectures and shoots that we have to do every single week, but I don't know if that's because that's during work hours, so I'm actually not sure what we're supposed to spend this money on. Anyways, it is what it is. We get a certain amount each week. This is an interesting one. It's called the what are they written here? Standby on call PH in brackets PSG. PH stands for public holiday, and I'm pretty sure that I was just on call for 2 public holidays in this pay cycle. I can't remember my specific roster, but when you're on call, I know when I was on call last year, it's not the same as an on-call for a senior doctor where you can actually get called up and asked for phone advice about specific patients. The role of this on-call shift is if someone calls in sick, then you are the next person to pick up the shift. So that's what that really means. And for each shift, you get paid like $53, which isn't much at all. But it just means like, say I might have a day off on the Saturday, but I might be on call on standby. And what that means is for that Saturday, I have to be ready to work if someone calls in sick. So that means you can't go out drinking, you can't go away on holidays, you've got to be sort of waiting around at home, low key, like just around basically, because if someone calls in sick and then the medical workforce team calls you up and asks you to come in, then you actually need to go in and do that shift. You can't really say no because you're on call. Anyways, I did 2 of those. So for one day I got $53. For the next day I got $53. And so that's 2 times. That totals to $106.20. When you are rostered off on a public holiday, you still get paid, and you get paid at the same rates at which you would normally work at. So that's why I got paid this amount here. So I was still paid the same hourly rate as my normal hours, and the amount of hours that I was rostered for that public holiday were just a little under 8. So that's why I still got money for that public holiday, even though I didn't work, which is pretty nice. The next thing to go through with this payslip is that I've done a little bit of overtime, and I can't remember the specific shifts that I did, but the way overtime works is for the first 2 hours of overtime, you are paid at 1.5 times your base rate. So if I did 39.9 by 1.5, then that would come out to $59.9. So it's essentially like $40, and if I multiply 40 by 1.5, then that ends up to be 60. And so I would have done a few hours of overtime, and the first 2 are at 1.5. So that's what that means. And then if I continued to work more overtime, more than the 2 hours, in addition to my base hours that I worked that fortnight, then the overtime rate increases to 2 times the amount. So I would have done 3 hours extra, and that would have been paid at pretty much $80 an hour. So yeah, that's the way that sort of works. And then all the amounts are listed in this section here. So look, it's a pretty good pay slip. I mean, it's not like a standard one. I don't usually have on-calls. I don't usually have public holidays, and I wouldn't usually work overtime, or people work varying amounts of overtime. So that's not all like always there. But essentially, all these amounts in this payments box here are the same, like they all add up to this amount here. So just under $4,000. You need to take into account all these deductions. And the deductions are pretty straightforward, but there's a couple of new ones for like doctors. So everyone knows that, you know, you get taxed for the work that you do. Let me just change this highlighter here. Let's do a green highlighter. So look, for the deductions, everyone knows you get taxed. I'll put in a link to the ATO, to be honest, and you can calculate your tax rate. It is a little bit different for everyone for the tax, but I usually don't check every payslip. I sort of trust that they do it, and maybe that's a fault of mine. I should probably be checking a little bit more. But essentially, the income tax is taken off that total amount. The next one is the RMO club. Now, most hospitals do this, but we have like a junior doctor's membership, which sort of contributes to meals on. We have like Friday meals that they pay for. Well, we pay for pretty much, but they organize. So you pay a certain amount of money each fortnight. It's like $15 at the moment, and they go towards all the different supplies for the junior doctors. So supplies for the junior doctors lounge, supplies for like Friday afternoon lunches. They might go towards the ball, or like different meetups throughout the year, or events. So it's pretty much a way to give back to the junior doctors society, and to make events or resources. Yeah, it's pretty much like give events or resources to the junior doctors, which is pretty nice. So that's a fixed amount that you can choose to pay or not pay. It depends on what you feel like. The next thing here might be a little bit interesting. So this is my salary packaging deduction. And look, salary packaging is a little bit complex. I might do another video about how my salary packaging actually works for me and how I do it. But essentially what salary packaging is, in a couple of sentences, is it's a way to use pre-tax money to pay for things that you want. And there's two major things you can do, like living contributions, and you can do meals and entertainment. And there's a couple of other things that you might be able to use it for. Regardless, you talk to the salary packaging company and you say, oh, can you put this amount from each payslip towards my salary packaging? And they say, yep. All right, and then they talk to the hospital. They talk to like payslips and the pay, like the accounting probably at the hospital. I don't know, whatever the organization is that looks after the money. But they talk to the finance department of the hospital, and then they say, hey, Harry wants to contribute this amount, like $1,000 or something, to the salary packaging each fortnight. And can you just take that away from his payslip and then send it to us so that he can use it through the salary packaging network? There is actually a limit to how much you can salary package, so you won't always see this high amount. I think it's about like $9,000 for like living expenses, and you get a couple of grand for meals and entertainment. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, so those are all the deductions: my tax, my junior doctor membership, and my salary packaging. Which the tax and the junior doctor's membership are actually things that I'm spending on, but the salary packaging money will go to my account, but it's with the salary packaging organization. That's still all my money. The $1,043.88. That's all my money that I get to spend. But it's just diverted. It's diverted to the salary packaging network so that I can spend that money later. But yeah, so that's just like a little thing to keep in mind. It's not actually, I don't actually lose that money. I will still get to spend that. Regardless, all the payments that you get total here, which is that yellow thing here, $3,934, and then all the deductions total up to be $1,820, and then your net pay is, well, just over $2,000 for that fortnight, and that's that same amount just here, which goes into my bank. Look, that's how I read a payslip. You need to just make sure a couple of things are correct, like you have the right dates that you're being paid for, like, and you need to have, your right employer number and your right, you need to have like the right role recognized by the pay office, so that you're getting paid at the right rates. There's a few other things which you can see. I've just blurred out, but essentially it's like your year-to-date income and your super company that you contribute to, and then how much leave you have as well. For those who don't know anything about super, maybe you're like an overseas listener or something, super is our sort of like 401k, I'm pretty sure. It's something that all employers are like required to contribute to for our retirement fund. So that's just a mandatory thing that they have to contribute. I think it's like 10.5% at the moment of what we get paid, they have to contribute to our super. That's pretty much the pay slip. Now, look, the thing with this is you want to make sure that it's the right pay slip. The one thing that's super helpful for this is the DiT Paycheck. And I use this periodically to make sure that I get all my pay slips correct and that I'm not missing any money that I should be getting. So occasionally there are slip ups with the Payslip office, and they can make some errors. So just check it. That's fine. You just email them and they'll fix it up. No problem at all. But let's do the DiT Paycheck for this particular payslip, and we can actually just check if what has been paid is correct or not. This is DiT Paycheck, and this is one of the most helpful websites that I used throughout my internship, and I still use now, to just check that my payslips are correct. So the way this works is you pretty much, so I've got my dashboard here, and I can edit my profile. So at the moment, let's go back, because this is when I was getting paid as a first year doctor. So I'm just going to change my position to an intern. And now the rates here, so I can click on the rates, and the rates change depending on your role. And so you can see for an intern, I mean, this is actually updated. So my payslip here is from 2022. Now these rates have actually been updated to be for 2023. So that's why this rate is slightly higher than the base rate you're seeing here. So $39.9 per hour would actually be $41.04 an hour if I was an intern this year. So yeah, and you can see like ordinary hours are 38 hours per week. So if you double 38, that's 76. So that rate, that number of hours has not changed. You're still rostered to do 76 hours each fortnight. So that's how many hours you should be paid for minimum. And then you've got the rate for working per hour on the weekends, for public holiday rate, and for night shift rate, etc. And yeah, as I said, for the overtime, the first 2 hours are paid at 1.5 times the amount of the base rate. So $61.56 per hour is 1.5 times that. And overtime, after the first 2 hours, you get paid at double the rate. So yeah, that's that. So what I've got here is, it's a pay slip that I've already put in shifts for. To just show you, for example, you can add a new shift by pressing this button here, and you just go the start of the shift date. So you might do a shift on Monday, the 5th of June. It might start at 7 a.m. and it might finish at 6 p.m. and it's an ordinary rostered shift. You save that, and then once you've done it for all the shifts in that particular fortnight, then you go to pay report. You go to the start of that pay cycle, and then you might get paid every fortnight, you might get paid every week or every month. Just change it depending on your health service, and then you click go, and then it generates a payslip for you. Okay. Now, I'll go through this with a full payslip for a previous one that I did, that I've prepared earlier. So this is an example of a payslip that I would have received it was actually probably my first payslip of internship, and I put in a few shifts. I think I was working in the emergency department at the time. So these are the shifts that I put in, and they were all 9.5 hours. The amount for each shift was this amount here. So the best thing about the DiT Paycheck is that it generates a mock payslip, but it gives you heaps more detail about why you're getting paid those numbers. And it quotes the EBA, which is like the agreement for the junior doctors, about what the actual terms are for your payment. So you can see here, look, I worked 8 shifts, and they're all 9.5 hours long, and I got paid this amount for each shift. Now you can see here, it's 9.5 hours at the base rate, but there's also a late finish penalty. So let's go down to this explanation area, and you can see, so the base rate was $41.04. Bear in mind, I did this last year, so this would have been a rate of $39.90 per hour. But anyways, this totaled to just over $3,000. The extra thing here, late finishes. So you can see the quote here with the clause 37.7. A late finish penalty is payable for ordinary shifts finishing after 6 p.m. So you can see here that I would have finished, because I started at 1:30 here, 1:30, 1:30, 1:30. So that's 4, 5, 6. And then the other 2 shifts I started at 7:30. So for 6 of these shifts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I would have finished later than 6 p.m. So for each one of those shifts that I finished after 6 p.m., I would have got paid an extra fixed sum of $39. Okay. So that's why they include this late finish penalty. And that's just a way of contributing to your remuneration for working outside the typical 9 to 5 hours. So that's that there. Note for this, I haven't included any overtime, but if I was, it would show up. So maybe I can show you quickly another payslip that DiT Paycheck can generate, which has overtime included. Let me just finish off with this one first. The education allowance is that thing that we were talking about before, this continual medication education allowance. For last year, as an intern, it was just under $150 for each fortnight, and that goes towards your medical education. The uniform allowance is not really a thing at our hospital because we don't have to wear a particular uniform. And if we do, like if we have to go to theatre or something like that, they supply our scrubs for us. So there's no onus on us to purchase different clothes. So we don't actually get we don't actually get a uniform allowance included on our payslip. Okay. Now that's pretty much it for this one. But DiT Paycheck is one of the most helpful websites ever. I'm gonna go buy them a coffee. And I'm probably going to get myself a coffee after this. So yeah, hopefully that helped, and I'll catch you guys next time. But definitely check out DiT Paycheck. This is the best thing ever. See ya.